Welcome to this Romeo and Juliet webinar for Year 10 and 11. We're looking at Romeo in Act 1 and we want to understand his character, link the quotations to key themes, but also look at using subject terminology as we analyse the quotations. The first quotation is Romeo in Act 1, Scene 1. As you know, at the beginning of the play, he wasn't actually in love with Juliet. He was in love with another woman called Rosaline, who had committed herself to God and had vowed never to look at men. So the love was one way. And when his cousin, who's worried about his sorrow, meets him, Romeo says this: "Where shall we dine? Oh me, what fray was here? Yet tell me not, for I have heard it all. 'Tis much to do with hate, but more with love. Why then, O brawling love, O loving hate, O anything of nothing first created?" So we can see here that Romeo is disillusioned, he's disappointed, he's melancholic, he's a heartbroken, sorrowful young man. He's distressed that this woman doesn't love him, but more than that, he's distressed about the society around him. He's first trying to connect with his cousin, where shall we dine? But then he realizes there's been a fight, a fray, and he's furious. This is why Romeo doesn't fit in, because he refuses, unlike the other men in Verona at the time, to express his emotions in violence. He would rather express his emotions in love. And so we can see that he is an archetypal or typical Petrarchan lover. That means someone who is involved in one-way love or unrequited love. The person that he is fascinated and obsessed with doesn't acknowledge his existence and won't acknowledge or return the affection. So he is here talking about this awful, conflicted love. And we can track this theme as Shakespeare presents it throughout the whole of the play. We see it here with Romeo in Act 1, Scene 1. We see it with Juliet in Act 1, Scene 5, when she realizes that Romeo's a Montague and we've got that conflicted love. We see it with the friar in Act 2, where he's conflicted about joining their hands in matrimony and he's resistant. And we see the conflict of love as well, where Romeo doesn't know whether to fight or not. Is his love for his wife stronger than his love for his friend who was killed? So this theme of conflicted love is very much in this scene, but also we can track it through the whole of the play. Let's think about subject terminology. We can see the use of questions or interrogatives. The first question is invitational, but the second one is accusational. He's angry. What fight is here? He's almost directing his anger to Benvolio and blaming Benvolio for being part of this fight. And then the "oh me" shows his distress and anger, that Verona is such a violent society and that love is such a violent emotion. It's tearing him apart. And the "oh me" could also show that kind of sense of self-pity. We've got this adverb all. Tell me not, for I've heard it all. He's saying, I've heard it all before. He's almost dismissive and frustrated that there's so much violence in society, but also that's mirroring the violence in his heart, the hatred and the love that he feels because this woman will not respect or return his affection. And then you have the oxymoron, brawling love, loving hate. We've got that confusion. His love and his emotions are dysfunctional. It's a mess. He's in disarray, and we have this topsy-turvy, unhappy clash of emotions. However, Romeo is very different at the end of Act 1 when he meets Juliet and he sees her. He's overwhelmed by her beauty and he grabs her hand and he says this: if I profane with my unworthiest hand this holy shrine, the gentle sin is this: my lips two blushing pilgrims ready stand to smooth that rough touch with a tender kiss. This is Romeo, very different Romeo. He's not angry or sad or depressed. He's confident, he's determined, he's respectful. And people at that time may have understood the Catholic religion where saints, which he's calling her, were venerated or worshipped by pilgrims. This is this idea of devotion, and we see it. Shakespeare introduces this idea of devotion and allegiance from the beginning to the end of the play, where people are having to choose sides. And when we look at subject terminology, we can see that this is iambic pentameter, that lovely rhythm, da-dum, da-dum, da-dum. This holy shrine, the gentle sin, is this. And it's in sonnet form. It's the beginning of the sonnet. Juliet completes the sonnet for him. We can see that their love is a perfect match. The extended metaphor of him being a pilgrim or a traveller to a holy place, a shrine where this statue is, shows his respect. And the fact that he personifies his lips as blushing pilgrims shows the nervousness and anticipation and readiness he has for a tender kiss. Remember, he also ends his life with a tender kiss. And then that oxymoron of the gentle sin shows that he is a rebel, he's a rule breaker, but he's doing it for all the right reasons. I hope this has helped you to understand Romeo in Act 1. Thank you for joining me, and see you next time.